Yeah, well, it's obviously a special moment for all our RCB fans in particular, but also for us in the dressing room. It's been quite a campaign, and you know how much hard work and sweat and tears and thought goes into trying to win an IPL. There are 10 great teams going hard at it. So it feels incredibly rewarding to come out on top, and also particularly I think to do something that hasn't been done before. So RCB hasn't done it before. So I think it's a particularly special feeling that Virat, in his 18th year of competing in the IPL. I think that also makes it really special for everyone involved, and I'm really happy for him and really proud of the way that he's driven the side forward. So really special moments. It's that we feel really privileged to be part of a top-class competition like this, and also very privileged to be associated with RCB. It's an amazing franchise, and I think we've had some amazing leadership from above, particularly, not just focusing on this season, but last season when we were under the pump halfway through it, and the leadership stuck with us, stayed calm, and we've managed to come through and give something back to our fans this time. Yeah, sure. Mo Bobat is a very impressive man. I've worked with him a little bit with the England Cricket Board when we both worked for England. And for such a young man to have such insight and knowledge and drive, he's incredibly impressive. And I think his leadership over the last couple of years has. It's been really impressive to be close to him while he's been leading like he does. He's got a great brain, he's a good strategist, and he's a good man. So I've got tons of respect for him. I think some of our assistant coaches, you mentioned DK, so DK, Marlowe, Richard Halsall, and Omkar Salvi, they've been outstanding. And I think, having that Indian insight and knowledge in our coaching staff has been really important for this campaign this year. And DK particularly, I think, as mentor and batting specialist, he's been brilliant. I've loved working with him. He's got great energy. He's got a smile on his face most of the time. And I think he's really enjoyed his job this year. I think it's quite a transition to make from playing to coaching, and he's done it amazingly well. And I think it's very obvious that he's had an impact, certainly on the batting group, but I think he certainly had an impact within the leadership of the management group and the coaching group. And with the wider team. So he's a really impressive guy, a brilliant guy to spend some time with, and I've loved every minute of it. Yeah, as I said, the auction is a huge first step that you've got to try and get as right as possible. And part of Mo's philosophy, right up front, was to distribute the value a little more equitably, rather than spending too much on big name batsmen, who are, of course, very fine players, but the importance of a good bowling attack was acknowledged absolutely adamantly right at the start, before the auction. And we worked towards that. And I know the first day of the auction, we were copping a little bit of flack, I think. And people thought that we were investing our money rather than spending it. But it meant that there was some really good value to be had on the second day, and we had the money to then spend on that value. And we got guys like Bhuvi, Krunal, Tim David, Romario Shepherd all on that second day. So That was really important. I think Soya Sharma's done really well for us, our little leg spinner. I thought he's handled himself really well through the season and come on. But Krunal's a big match player and a great competitor. And, that spell today, I think, was the major difference between the teams. Yeah, I mean, that was an outstanding catch, wasn't it? I thought it was a perfect example of someone holding his nerve under pressure. That took a while to get to him. He knew that he was moving towards the boundary. And to stay that calm under that sort of pressure in a final to get our first wicket was an amazing piece of fielding from him, and also just holding his nerve. So, he only got back from England at 3:00 this morning. And he's been an outstanding batter and fielder for us throughout the season. So he's taken a couple of catches like that through the season. He works really hard at it. I think he'd actually prefer to keep wicket, but he was outstanding, and a turning point, obviously. On your first question, we really rated Venki, and that's why we went so hard for him. And I think a big part of going so hard for him was because we valued having a strong Indian core to our team, and we wanted some exciting young cricketers, and we also needed a left-hander in the top order. So we went at him. We didn't get him. I would like to think that if he came and played for us, he would have had a really great season. So I wouldn't agree with your first point, but I think he's a really good young player, a really good young character, and I do wish him well as he has the end of this year. Yeah, he really did. I think one of the most impressive things about what Rajat's done this year is, as an inexperienced captain, he hasn't been affected by it. I don't actually think it's affected his batting, because I've watched him really closely as a character, and he is still the lovely, gentle, polite Rajat Patidar that we knew last year. He hasn't changed at all in that regard. I think captaining RCB is a really tricky job, and if I cast my mind back to how poorly I captained when I was his age, I've got tremendous respect for how he's held himself with all that scrutiny, and captaining some big players. You can't underestimate the calmness that he showed in leading some really big players, leading a really big franchise, taking on, making good decisions out there in the middle under the pressure that RCB players play under. So I've got tons of respect for him. I'm really proud of the way that he's carried himself, and he's obviously been crucial to us doing well.